Come down to our dam, which is still on our property. It's just down the hill a bit. That's going towards the back of the property. Just sitting in our little shelter that we built probably a couple of years ago now. I've forgotten we'd even left chairs down here, just plastic chairs. They're still pretty good to sit on. We've got a little fire pit down here. But today, I'll just spin this around. There we go. Hey guys. So behind me is back up towards our house. So I've just come down the hill a bit. I didn't bring sticks and canes and stuff because I'm in my backyard. Basically, went through a gate, walked 100 meters, and we're here. Today we're going to be showing you guys a bit about my tarp. So I'll put this on a stand and I'll show you guys what I've got. Okay, so obviously when we hat down here, I'm under the shelter. It's fine. Because I forgot we had our chair and our chairs. Get the right words, man. Because we have our chairs down here and I've forgotten about it, I packed a couple of things like my chair, just in case I needed it. Packed a table, I'll get that out and I'll set it up, and then we can pull out some of this stuff and show you guys what it is. So, I'm going to be showing you guys my hammock set. So, if I reach into my bag, here we have my ultralight hammock. This is from Alton, a Queensland based brand, so Australian made. So I've got an ultralight hammock with an ultralight tarp to go over the top of it for weather protection. I've got also the ultralight hammock bug net, really useful, tons of bugs around. And then I've got some straps to hang my hammock from. These are really cool straps I'll be showing you guys. And then obviously I've got a sleeping bag. This is one I've had for a while. I can't even remember where I got it from. I think it's a Wanderer light flame that's severely worn off, guys, so I can't even read it anymore. But yeah, I'll go through, probably film me setting this up just off to my right here and show you guys how I have that set up. Put that back in there. I've just got the bags so that I can carry everything down today. So first up on my setup stuff, so that I don't get any weather, I'm going to set up my hammock, sorry, not my hammock, my tarp, keep the weather and keep the sun, all that good stuff off. So it comes with a guy and rope, peg and guy lines bag, and then there's the tarp in there. So this bag and all the gear seems to be made out of the same stuff. It's a ripstop nylon, which is very silky, very soft. And here we have our tarp. So it's nice and big, plenty big enough for me. Put that there for now. What I do when I'm setting mine up is I run the ridge line, and then Alton give you two separate, I believe they call them Prussic. Sorry, I'll show you guys in a sec. So I run my ridge line out, nice and simple. So I'll get started. And I'll be going from over here. And then the other thing on this one, I'm just going to bring over here. So they give you plenty of rope with this. I generally use trees. I try for 6 meters apart, roughly. And obviously when I have room for the tarp. So, here. So that's now nice and tight. above my head. That's also a bonus. So the next thing I'll go through and attach is those little lines I mentioned earlier. Here they are. So these are going to be really hard to see, and especially with black. So these are just two material lines. So that's now nice and tight. Above my head. That's also a bonus. So the next thing I'll go through and attach is those little lines I mentioned earlier. Here they are. So these are going to be really hard to see, especially with black. So these are just two material lines. If I separate them out for you, this is two lines, not very long, 20 centimeters long, a few inches, maybe 6 or so inches long, maybe 7. I'm terrible at guessing that. Obviously I grew up with the metric system because I live in Australia. Oh, cool. So these, they call their prusik lines. You're tied just like a prusik knot, which is really hard to show on these. I might bring up a photo of that for you guys. So I'm going to get these attached on. So that's our first one attached. So the way I set up my tarp when I'm doing my hammock stuff is like a diamond pattern. So I'll take a corner, feed it through, and they suggest a reef knot just to tie it on there, which is 2 half knots that kind of come back on each other. You guys can probably just find those online, how to tie those. So I get that tied up. Tension that out a bit. So that's why I set up my ridge line first, is because they suggest putting the tarp up separately. So then also in our bags, because you can get different configurations for the tarps, they include a few guy lines. So that's how I've wrapped up mine, nice and small. So today I'm just going to need 2 because I have 2 corners free. So I'll get 2 of those out. And they also have, or at least in my tarp kit, they've got 9 ultralight, I think they're ultralight pegs at least lightweight pegs. So they're like a star picket design. And they've got that 3, says 1, 2, 3 ridges on them. And then turning it 90 degrees, whichever way. You can see there's 3 notches cut into it and a pull tab. So those notches are where the guy lines go, and it's got like an arrowhead kind of design, not an arrowhead, but just like a tapering arrow design down to a tip. So it'll go on the ground. That'll go on the ground, obviously on an angle, and then we can tension up against these ridges. So I'll just put the back one in for now, and then we'll see how we go with the front one. So they give you the same kind of cord as the Prusik line. Yeah, so I've got that back pegged out. Really easy for you guys if I just flip this leading edge over the top for a bit. You guys can see plenty of room over there. I can throw my bag, put some other stuff down. So next up I'll just get these hammock straps connected. And these are really awesome hammock straps. These are the first time I've come across these ones. I've seen them in other people's videos, but up until I got my hammock, I'd never really touched them or seen how they worked. So these, there we are, printed on them, ultralight hammock straps. So these are just two pieces of webbing that are quite a decent length long. They're maybe 3 meters long each. And they're sewn together for a first section, and then kind of sewn straight across in a bar pattern, so that I can put stuff through different lengths. So it forms like a webbing chain, so I can adjust how I hang my hammock. So I'll get these looped around this tree and the other tree, and then we'll get the hammock out. So the good part about these hammock straps is the end loop. You open it up, you feed the rest of the hammock strap through, and then you pull it up to the tree. So they kind of protect the tree and give you a nice strap at the same time. As you can see, these are pretty long. So just doing the same thing on the other side. Now our hammock straps are done. So next up, we're going to grab out our hammock. So the bag they send this hammock in is interesting. It opens at both ends, same as the bug net. I suppose that's so you can pack it for either end. But this is our hammock. This is made out of a very similar material, possibly even the same stuff, just slightly different. And they've got some really lightweight carabiners on them. So these carabiners on their website, they're rated to 300 kilos. I believe that's pulling end to end, not across, which is obviously where you want your carabiners rated to. So having the carabiners on the hammock makes it really easy to set up. Just clip the first end on, and this is where the greatness of this system comes out. So I can clip it down here, have a really saggy hammock, or I can clip it right up here and have a really taut hammock. I don't like the taut hammock too much. I like it firm, but not too taut. Otherwise it gets too hard to sleep in. So obviously got a bit of droop in there, but it's a nice hammock. So the straps and the hammock are rated to 300 kilos sitting inside of it. So this is why I don't like having too taut of a hammock. Makes it really hard to sit in, have a relax in. So if you weren't worried about bugs, you could probably just leave it at that. Bring the other side over, peg it out, similar fashion to this half, and you'll have a really nice comfy shelter and hammock. But because of where I live, if I and a lot of where I go hiking or using this or kayak camping, there's a lot of bugs, lots of bugs. So I've got the bug net that goes with this system, which is in this bag. So again, opens at both sides with little bags. You don't need to open both sides, so I can leave that side closed and get it out. So it's a really lightweight net, and it comes with the same cord again as a top line. So I'll hook that on. So I don't want to run this too high above the hammock, because if I do that, I go to the bottom of the net and I start stretching the net, and it becomes ineffective. Because now that no-seam bug netting, which was what this is made out of, is no longer, the holes are now being stretched if I leave it too high. So I forget, probably as close to as little height as I reckon I can get away with above the hammock. That's where I like to use it. And then the easiest way I've found to not get this net too tangled up with the nature, because that makes it really hard. It says kind of the half shape of it. You guys will get to see that better when it's on there. It's got these little clips at the top. I clip it straight onto the top line, just up here, making sure I've got my zipper around the right way. Kind of a couple of ways you can get this hammock into the net. The easiest way I find is have it so I can slide the net up and down. Open up the net, I put one hand through, right through to the end. I grab onto the loop where I'd hook that carabiner on. I kind of pull the loop so that I can get it inside the net, and I clip the carabiner back on. So now that end will be able to feed over. So I leave that end not secured yet, because I'm going to come down this end. Again, I'll put my hand through, figure out which loop I'm using, unclip it, pull it through, and clip it up. So you could do it either way, where you have the net set up first or second. Doesn't make too much of a difference. And then right at the end of the hammock, that's where I found best to cinch these draw cords right down on the net to stop the bugs. And I pull this back right to the end of the hammock. This is about as long as the hammock. Cinch the draw cord down, and now I've got a pretty good bug-free zone. Obviously then, it's right for me to put my sleeping bag in the hammock. This sleeping bag's nice and light, nice and small. Still stuck over there. So it weighs very little. I can just open it up, put it in. When I'm ready for bed, I can sort it out. So, obviously I'm not going to go hiking in Crocs. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I should specify. I'm not going to go hiking in Crocs too often. I shouldn't say I'm not going to go hiking in Crocs because I never know. So to get into the net, I sit in the hammock, lay alongside it, and then I can do up my zips. And now I'm in a bug-free zone. My tarp will obviously be over the top of me. I got a lovely bug-free zone to sleep in. Obviously when I'm getting out, it's the same as getting in, but in reverse. So I put my shoes, get up, unzip, put my shoes on, and then I stand up and get out of it. And I don't have that much debris and stuff in the bottom of my sleeping bag. Oh, not sleeping bag, my bug net. So, what this would look like, if I'd had that covered over, is I'd be pulling this over here a bit. And you can see, I've got plenty of room under there that's shaded, and it's all nice. Obviously, if it gets no rain, I might have it up like this for a cooking shelter. And you can see I've got tons of undercover space under there. But otherwise, raining, I'd have this about a 45-degree angle down, trying to keep as much of that rain off of me as possible. So yeah, that's the hiking hammock system I've got. It's nice and easy for me to set up. Didn't take me too long there. Packing it up's kind of as easy. At least taking it apart's as easy. Putting it in the bags is not quite as easy. So obviously, a slightly different way I could have set this up. If the draw cord's open, I might just pull this down to one end. I've got my sleeping bag in there still, but I could have just had it so I can easily have hooked up the hammock like that. And there, it comes apart pretty easy, packs up back into the same stuff sacks. But yeah, doesn't take long to take apart. And it all comes apart pretty easily. So yeah, that's my hiking kit. So I got it all packed up. It's all back in my bag here, apart from my table yet. But yeah, so that's my hiking hammock system, or hiking, kayak camping, whatever I'm doing. That's a nice little ultralight system that I can put in my backpack. And I can walk into somewhere. Just a quick thought, you might have heard some, I don't know, shed noises. Some people do know what they are, some people don't. It's noises that come from a shed when people are working in them. That's because my brother's home today. He's up in the shed at the moment working around. He's got the die grinder out by the sounds of it, and he's got some spray cans. So he's just doing a couple of things up in the shed. That's what some of that background noise is. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch us in the next one.